Hi, one of our viewers and also many friends of mine, they recently raised the question, oh, you know, since Xi Jinping became the leader of China, China has become much more aggressive, and we have much more problem. And someone say, yeah, well, I was in China during the time of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, and life seems to be better. People are improving the economy, and China looks, promising, getting better and better. But since Xi Jinping, we have only problem. Well, if you look at the surveys, one may have this kind of conclusion, because we know that there is quite a high tension, right, due to China's conflict with different countries. If you start from the north, China is conflict with Japan due to East China Sea. China is conflict with Taiwan, and China is in conflict with many Western countries in South China Sea, and China is in conflict with India. So all the way, one of the sides of the conflict is always China. So, well, no wonder people have this, and all this happened in the last 10 years. So people have this conclusion that, oh, Xi is really a bad guy. Now, before I answer this question, I again remind you, don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, do it, and also check that your previous subscription is still working. And of course, at the end of our episode, I'm happy if you click like, and also don't forget to share with your friends and relatives. Yeah, on the surveys, as I said, it looked like that the last 10 years, China is making much more trouble with the other. But like in everything, to understand what is going on today, it's better to understand first what has happened before, because everything grown out from its own history. So the behavior of China is also a product of what has happened in China in the past. So we don't have time to go all the way back 5,000 years, but I think we just need to go back about 100 years. For 100 years ago, the Chinese Communist Party was established, 1921, right? And through different, I would say, terrorist methods, assassination, bombing, and making trouble, encouraging people to make a violence demonstration, and all these kind of things, And at the end, they form their army and make revolution, and so on and so on. So after all these years of war, and particularly because of the fact that China was invaded by Japan during the Second World War. So at the end, anyway, the Communist Party took power. Now, we all know, some people say, Mao was really bad, and Xi is not so bad. Why? Because many people know during the ruling years of Mao, from 1949 to 1976, when he passed away, that was many people in their perception, oh, that was really bad. At that time, China is like North Korea today, which is also true. They had a lot of political campaign, and a lot of people were persecuted, the Tibetans, by the way, the Uyghurs already, and also the democracy movement people, intellectual. Well, from the beginning, even the landlords and rich people were also persecuted. So it was one after another political campaign. And every political campaign, the target is to eliminate a whole group of elite. Elite within politics, elite within business, economy, finance, and culture. And all these political campaigns end up with a cultural revolution. That was a kind of, the final hammer strike to these so-called reactionary forces. That is really a cleansing in all areas. So then we say, oh, this was really bad. Huh? We agree. And then later, when it came Deng Xiaoping and Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, then people say, oh, it looks peaceful. Yeah, and you know why? Because the first 30 years of persecution against all sorts of dissidents create, of course, a lot of problem for the country, China. I mean, like, look, if you killed or cleanse, yeah, the whole elite of your economy, what happened with your economy? All the clever economists, they got, so to say, eliminated. They sit in prison, they got killed, they are frightened, dare not to say anything, and so on. How can you develop the economy? Of course not. And the same thing with culture, same thing with politics. So all this make that China in the year 1978, yeah, that after the Cultural Revolution, China was at the brink of total bankruptcy in all sense. Yeah? China was in big trouble. And during this terrible period, don't forget that China tried to export revolution. Although they had a poor economy, they were still supporting different communist parties in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Malaysia, and all these Asian countries to help them with money, with weapons, and so on, to carry out a so-called world revolution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you must understand, this target has never changed. At that time, they called it world revolution, but the final target is we are the boss of the world, right? Through revolution. But after time of Mao, that doesn't work because in practice, China actually failed. China becoming poorer and becoming troublesome and so on. So Deng Xiaoping has to save the party, yeah, save their power by introducing so-called reform and open policy. Now, this is only a tactical change because Deng Xiaoping understands to conquer the world, to control the world, well, if China stays poor, how can we have strong weaponry? How can we have control over the world? So China must become rich first. Obvious. I mean, even a child can understand that. Yeah. So his tactic was, as he called it, let's hide our strength and wait for our time. That means let's stop being aggressive. Let's stop showing off that we are strong, we are fantastic, socialist country, and all this stuff. Yeah, and keep a smiling face and saying that, oh yeah, actually, it is not bad to have private ownership. Yeah, let's have a reform and let's give people more freedom to do business because he knows only fixing the economy, China can become a world power. But to fix the economy, you need to be nice to the strong power, such as America, Germany, Japan, UK, and all this. So they call it open policy or open door policy, which means keep a smiling face to all these countries, yeah, giving them an impression we will slowly become a democratic country and care about human rights and give more freedom for people. But right now, we need food for the day. We need to build up our economy. So that was the strategy. And that's why many people got the perception. During the time of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, China was more peaceful. Of course, they have to keep a smiling face and stay peaceful so that they get the capital they need. Yeah, they show all this positive stuff so that people start to invest in China, and showing a smiling face and talking about friendship and cooperation. Slowly, the Western people believe it, and they open the door and let Chinese scientists and technologists to come in and access to their technology. This is why they look nicer, yeah? But is it really a true being nice? No. It is just a tactic. So after this these years from 1978 till Xi Jinping came to power, which is 2013. Yeah, after all these years, China become rich, become big. Well, not the whole China, but the people in power. The party has a lot of money, and also a lot of enterprise owners. They also become rich. Yeah, so they think now we are strong because they have money. They afford to build much more weaponry than before. And we've got the impression that Xi is more aggressive. No. This is the same strategy of hiding our strength and wait for our time. Nothing changed. I tell you, during the period of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, particularly Jiang Zemin, yeah, on the surface it looks peaceful and people making money and so on, but behind the scene, the persecution against all these so-called dissidents group, yeah, were absolutely not less than before. His tactic only is not to do these things being visible. So behind the curtain, they were still killing Tibetans, killing Falun Gong practitioners, killing Uyghurs, killing democracy movement people, killing the human rights lawyer, and so on. Non-stop, all the time. Yeah? Also now. So, ladies and gentlemen, the problem is not Xi. I mean, the core of the problem is not Xi Jinping. The core of the problem is the nature of CCP, Chinese Communist Party. Its nature is a deceptive nature. They only want power. For the power, they allow themselves to do anything. And that we have to bear in mind. Thank you. Bye-bye.